So now, as I said, every time we start the application, we will seed the database. Now, just think about that our database is now a persistent file, right? This is a simple DB file on your machine, on your local machine right now. So the data is persistently created, not gone when you just shut down the application. So every time you start the application, we will just push those flight seeds to the database, right? So it's an array with a lot of flight information. And for sure, if you now 10 times shut down and start the application, you will have 10 times exactly this information inside of your database. So it's duplicated, or it's got duplicated a lot of times. So what we do there is pretty simple. We only want to seed the initial information one time. So let's go ahead, use these entities here, and let's check if we have any flights. So if entities, so now let's check if we don't have any flights. So if no entity dot flights dot any, right? So it's a Boolean expression. So if we don't have any flights, we want to execute some code. Let me take that flights to seed here. And here we go. These 3 lines of code, right? I got that collapsed or folded. It's flights to seed, add to range, or add the flights and save the changes. I will just copy that, bring it inside here. It will automatically unfold the array again. Let me just collapse it again so that it looks exactly like this. Flights to seed array, add it to the flights, save the changes in database only if we don't have any flights, right? So if we don't have any flights, we can assume that we are creating a new database, for example. Great, and that's all we have to do. Now I want to show you how you can remove a database. So again, let me just open up the SQL Server Object Explorer. It just takes a second. And when I open up the correct SQL instance, I can go ahead here on flights. So you can right click on it and delete, for example, right? But then you have to go ahead and create a new one if you like. So make sure that the database is existing, or what you for sure also can do is simply go ahead and take the flights table and delete that one and the passenger one, because it will automatically get generated again. Or right click on it and view data and simply go ahead, take all the information and right click and delete. That's also working, right? So no problem at all. Great, so now we have our flight data again cleaned. So let me start the application to ensure that our new data is getting seeded now one time, not many times, right? So this is also something you will face in a real world application. It depends on the application. If you seed initial data, mostly these are accounts like in a super admin account or a manager account, right? So by default, or in most scenarios, you are seeding user information. Great, so let me just update everything here. So I can see on my second screen that the application is now starting, and you can see that we now have the information here inside. So let me shut down right now and let me just start again. We could for sure also go ahead and debug, but I just want to show it here inside of the database. So I just started the application. That should take another couple of seconds, and afterwards we should not see any copies of all the information that we get right here, because we are only seeding one time. Okay, so application starting, and when I update, I can see that there are only the entries which were seeded from the previous call. Great. Okay, so this works. Now we only seed the information one single time.